So here's Michael, Courtney, and her mother Terry. They're going to be my audience members, and Coco might be coming in and out of the shot throughout the speech. Okay. So a few seasons ago on Bachelorette, Jillian had a date who she was talking with, and he confided in her saying that he had had some serious health problems. He didn't know what it had been caused from, but ever since he had moved into the house that he was living in during college, he was getting really, really sick with lung problems and not being able to even get up, and he was pretty much to the point to where the doctors had given up on him and they were giving him 2 months to live. The house was finally inspected because he was moving out, and they found that there was copious amounts of mold inside the house, and that is what had infected in his lungs and caused him to be sick. Once he went to the doctor and he got that taken care of, everything was fine, and he was healthy enough to go onto a national television show trying to fall in love. However, not everybody is that lucky. In order to make sure that you have the optimum health, you need to be able to know what common ailments people deal with, what symptoms and things to look for when you are sick, and how to cure it either medicinally or personally if you don't want to go to a doctor. Some of the places that you can find this information is an Invitation to Health. It's a textbook that I'm using for my health class, and it's by Diane Hale. And there's also websites like WebMD and HealthyPlace.com. There's lots of other places that you can go on to and type in what your problems are, and they'll give you back what kind of illnesses that you can have, but make sure that you also go to a doctor because they're the ones that are credible. So what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about what common symptoms and problems people deal with on a day-to-day basis, what symptoms you need to look for to make sure that you have those issues, and what cures, both medicinally and personally, that you can have to make sure that you can get healthy and live your life to the fullest. The definition in my book, Invitation to Health, of depression is, in general, feelings of unhappiness and despair as a mental illness, also characteristically by an inability to function normally. Depression is one of the major things that people deal with in our country nowadays. So it's important that you know if you're one of those people that are dealing from it. One of the things that can trigger depression is being bullied when you're younger. I know when I was in high school, I was picked on all the time and made fun of because sometimes I acted like a dumb blonde, which, you know, you can't always help. So it was difficult, and there were a lot of times to where I was severely depressed, but my parents just said that, you know, things would go by, the next day would be better, and, you know, it wasn't anything that I needed to worry about. But when you are bullied, there are plenty of children who do end up having suicidal thoughts or attempts due to bullying, so you need to pay attention to that. There's also, in my personal story with pain, I was discharged out of the Army for severe chronic full body pain, and it got to the point to where I gave up, and I overdosed and I tried to kill myself. And those kinds of things happen to thousands of people across the country, and I was lucky enough to have people that cared about me that were able to prevent me from succeeding. But with depression, it is a very careful and dangerous symptoms, and you need to make sure that if you do have it, that you do everything you can to take care of it. Pills might not be the answer, but with me, the pills that I'm taking are taking care of me quite well, so I'm doing a lot better than I was. Now that you know what kind of symptoms and what problems are out there, then you need to know what things you need to look for in case you don't know if you have it. New York Times has a statistic by the American College Health Association National College Health Assessment, and it says 10% of college students in 2000 claimed that they were depressed. It's now in 2008, well, 2008, now it's 2011, it's 16%. These symptoms have increased due to lack of sleep in college students, and because of the lack of sleep, they don't do as many daily activities. With sleep, your brain has to rejuice itself each night. And if you're not getting your sleep, it's not going to function, and it's going to boycott. It's going to say, you know what, screw you, I am not doing what you're telling me to do because you're not giving me my recharge of my batteries. So sleep can cause accidents, it can cause anger, it can cause depression, it can cause a series of things to when all you need to do is just go to bed a few hours earlier. Taking sleeping pills isn't always the answer, but you definitely need to try to get your sleep. When you're not getting your sleep, you lose your desire to do daily activities. With daily activities, you don't really realize how important they are to you until you can't do them. If you're too tired to get up and cook, you realize that you're really hungry. Or if your friends call you and it's the third time in a row that you tell them that you don't want to go out, you finally realize that you never do anything, all you do is watch TV. So you need to definitely be really careful with making sure you get enough sleep. There's normal ways to deal with problems, and there's medicine, and there's regular things that don't have to do with doctors at all if you don't have insurance. Ways to deal are not always having to do with pills, but you can do medicines, electric shock therapy, and psychotherapy, which is talking with somebody. An electric shock is where you have electrodes on your head, and it creates an electric pulse trying to reboot your brain. Relaxation, yoga, massage, meditation, and acupuncture are other ways to be able to help with your depression. So, common problems, knowing how to deal with them, and the cures that can fix them, those are all really important in being able to have a normal and healthy life. So we are beautiful, and we should find ways to keep ourselves that way, no matter what. I know I totally was rambling